This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program?
Sure.
Make your voice heard on the Brad, Sean, Brian text line.
Oh.
Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
They do indeed. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. Excited and delighted to be joined by the legendary one, Mark Rosen, formerly of Channel 4 Sports. Sports is your whole life, just sports fame. Now does a little football show, Vikings Game Day, I think they call it.
That is correct.
You, Ronnie Johnson.
I just ran into Ron Johnson.
Benny Lieber.
Yep.
And Pete Bursich join you along with Don Mitchell and I think an assorted cast of others. Yes, correct.
Tatum Everett.
Yeah. It's a hell of a show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. We'll be on the air at 9:30. Yeah, so it's been, a month?
Why 9:30?
Well, we do an hour and a half.
Oh, you do 90. I thought
90 minutes for home games. And this is the first time that, obviously, the Vikings have been home in a month, right? I mean, they haven't played since that Bengals game at U.S. Bank, and nice to have a noon game again. So, yeah, we're on from 9:30 to 11 on Sunday morning.
Head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, just had his midweek news conference live from the new Winter Park, a.k.a. TCO Performance Center. Second question was asked about who's going to start, the quarterback situation. He said, same answer I gave you last. He was not happy. You could tell he was annoyed by it.
Well, he's expecting it.
But then why is he annoyed by it?
Well, I don't know if he's annoyed by it, but he cut it off, and then he went into more details. I'll discuss with you right now about JJ and working with him the last week. Until he announces his decision, and I think many of us thought.
Do you think it's a game time decision?
No, I think he'll announce it before that.
Well, you think they'll make an announcement? You don't think they'll just wait till all of a sudden when they trot out to the field on Sunday?
It's possible, but I don't think he's going to play that game. And Tenna laid it out in the context for people who think that we got to start JJ. I mean, no, they don't. And there's nothing. It's not a reflection on his future, his present. It might be just who's going to give you the best chance to win on Sunday. End of story.
But most of the fans, and they're all over me, they're like, we don't care about this season. We're not going anywhere this season. We need to see what we have in J.J. McCarthy. They want to see McCarthy no matter what he does. He could throw 4 picks in the first half, and they're going to go, well, maybe he'll only throw 3 in the second.
There's always going to be fans are fans, and that's what makes them fans. And that's great. I mean, I love passion of fans. We've been arguing and disagreeing. That's the beauty of sports, and that's why we have, hopefully,
have you seen the new look Doncic, by the way?
We talked about it all day yesterday.
But have you seen him play?
No,
not just I
have not. Preseason basketball is like watching paint dry. I'm not going to watch.
A sports fan.
I am a sports fan,
but you love the NBA.
The head coach of the Celtics said it best. It's like I'm not. I mean, I've watched 2 minutes of it. No, when the season starts next week,
was really, really sharp.
You don't even watch him in the regular season.
He looks better than he's ever looked. I saw.
Well, he's a hell of a basketball player. Let's not get off the topic, but
he looks young, fun, hit now with it. Wow,
let's see if he can survive till next April this time.
Wow.
All right. I mean, he's a hell of a player. There's no denying that. As far as the quarterback thing goes, here's what I want to say is. If Wentz starts Sunday, it doesn't mean that JJ's not going to. This is the last time I looked. I think the Vikings are 3-2. I'm going to do meat sauce math. They play 17 games, so they have 12 left. Is that right? That's a lot of football left.
Plenty of football.
Plenty of football, and it's not to suggest that J.J. McCarthy. Number one, we don't know.
I think you're hearing something. I think you know that they're going.
I'm not hearing.
Wentz.
No,
because you've been a big gotta play McCarthy guy up until now.
Well, I've wanted to play him, but let me finish what I want to say here. Okay. We don't know how healthy. Number one, J.J. McCarthy's ankle is, and it could have been more of a significant injury. He's back out practicing. That's a good sign. They didn't put him on, 4-week injured reserve. All that's a good sign. But he hasn't played much football this year. Of course, he didn't play at all last year. And so there's the physical aspect of it. And then listening to KOC right now, if you didn't know that news conference, his answers were in the middle of October, those answers could have been pulled out of a news conference he had the second week of training camp, when he's talked about the mechanics and what he's been working with J.J. McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't have the answer.
I think they're befuddled by his inability.
But he continues to work with them and doing this. And he said at the end, he talked about how much more time he spent with him.
He's quarterback whisperer.
Than he did with that kind of what he normally does. And we've watched him walking all over the field, which a lot of head coaches do. So that's the point I'm thinking that you can't. This is not experimental time to work on, the fundamentals of his.
3-2, a game out of first. Let's go.
Well, I'm saying you can't, and I'm not. And if J.J. McCarthy gets to start, great.
I hope he's brilliant, and I hope he's brilliant.
I do too. But I'm just saying that O'Connell is talking about McCarthy in terms of. I think it's a combination of. I think there's got to be some concern about that ankle, and also the mechanics of how it's affecting him. And listen, Wentz has got a bad left shoulder, but I think he's certainly in a position to play through it.
He'll eat some dirt and rubber over.
Yeah, they'll put a brace on it, and he'll figure it out and try to just work through it. But it's an interesting answer to hear, and it's not the first time we've heard it from KOC about the mechanics of J.J. McCarthy in the middle of October. And I'm thinking, well, this isn't like you're working with somebody's golf swing or I'm trying to think of another
You're
sport.
starting to come around to my way of thinking.
Well,
Mark.
no, and I'm not, and I'm a big proponent of wanting to see JJ out there sooner than later. Everybody does, but I don't want to put him in a position to fail and have that thing kind of backfire on him if he's not, number one, physically ready, and that means he wouldn't play. He could play well enough if he has to go in there if something happened to Wentz. Brosmer's the other quarterback. We all know that. But we're spending so much time talking about this, who's going to be the starter. I think the bigger picture is who's going to be the finisher like a month from now, month and a half from now. The last 7 games of the season, I hope J.J. McCarthy's playing in them. And that's the bigger issue, because at some point you got to get this kid ready if he's the quarterback of the future. The future's now. You got to play him.
They got Jackson coming back. They got O'Neal coming back. Brandell looks like he's a Pro Bowl center type candidate after one start. Well, he was really good. Mm-hmm. So you got that going for yourself. Well, you got Cashman's coming back.
Oh, this week. Yeah.
The team is starting to get some of the players back.
They are.
The team that went 14-3. I can't believe all the quitters we have for.
I give up on the season.
I'm actually shocked by it, because generally sports fans always have some hope. They're all saying this is a terrible team and we're not going anywhere.
They watched the NFL.
The team that went 14-3 last year and didn't really eliminate anybody. They added to the team.
Right.
They added to the interior of the offensive line. You do that because you think you can win now. Well, it's not because you're thinking, well, we're really not very good. We're not a playoff team. What are the people watching?
Well, and the team that's playing here Sunday, I think everyone agrees,
they
as formidable.
They went 4-2.
They're fractured a little bit.
Yes, they are.
They have injury issues like most teams do, but they're not hitting on all cylinders. There's some infighting going on. They're not running the ball well, and that doesn't mean that Saquon Barkley isn't all of a sudden going to turn into the all-pro running back that he is and could run for 150 on Sunday. But the point of the matter is the Eagles are a 1.5 favorite. They're not 7-point favorites here. They're not that's a toss-up game almost. Or that means that the Eagles would be favored by 4 if they were playing in Philadelphia this week. Look at the NFL. Everyone, we talk about it all the time. Look at week to week, trying to predict games that we do, and everybody else does.
Here's a prime example, my club.
Yes.
You basically, after week 1, said their window was closed, slammed
I did say
shut.
that.
Then all of a sudden they win 4 in a row. Their power rankings have them as the best team in pro football. Then they lose to Kansas City, and they look bad and losing to them. They were just absolutely dominated in that game. And now everybody thinks the Lions are a terrible team and a terrible city.
I didn't feel they were dominated by them. Kansas City was a desperate team. They played Mahomes was unbelievable.
They were dominated in that game.
Well,
the Lions scored half the amount of points they normally score.
Yeah, that's true. But I think
Kansas City rolled up 30 points against them.
Yeah.
So they went from they lost to the Packers. They're missed. Their coordinators are gone. They're never going to be any good again. They win 4 in a row. Everybody thinks they're the best team in football, and then they lose to Kansas City. That's just the nature of the league.
It is the nature of the league, and if you look at the NFC West and you pick your favorite team, San Francisco with their backup quarterback and what Sammy Darnold's doing in Seattle. And in the East, it's like all of a sudden the people are jumping on the Giants a little bit. Washington, even though they lost to the Bears the other night, right? They're still, they went to the NFC Championship game last year. It's a week by week thing, and it's just, you don't know. If Philadelphia, if you still agree that Eagles are the team to beat, well, they're not the same, and it's not unusual. Teams it's really hard to repeat. It's hard to get back to that place, and that's why I kind of said that about the Lions. I think the Eagles might be a little bit more fat and sassy than Detroit, because Detroit still got that real hunger to get to a place that they should have been in, especially 2 years ago. But you just can't predict this stuff. I think the biggest thing is figuring out at some point when McCarthy's going to get in there, whether it's this Sunday or 2 weeks from now. I don't know. Here's
a text message that says, Coach is stressed by the decision. He sounded like Zimmer answering that question. Maybe he is. Could it be this? Could it be this? He's talking about mechanics. Do you think he's already thinking to himself, the kid that I've handpicked, that I'm whispering to, can't even get the mechanics straight right now? Wentz did play pretty well. We're 3-2. What am I going to do? Could the coach be stressed? Or do you think he's not at all?
I think stress is part of the contract with being a head coach for an NFL team. But no, I don't think his answer about the quarterback situation was a way of being that perturbed. It was a short answer because I think he knew it was coming. At the same time, he didn't have anything to add that he said the other day. So that
was very Zimmer-like.
It was, but he was like an 8-word answer, and he hasn't changed anything.
Where'd you find the 4 extra
I kind of missed the Zimmer press conferences.
Plus, when Chris Thomason was there.
Yes.
Zimmer was the best when Zimmer would just say,
I love cranky Zimmer.
Who is the quarterback that said, what do you think about
Josh Freeman?
No, it was Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond.
And he just said, I see him in practice every day. That's all he needed to say. Well, he's just being honest.
He actually was.
He's terrible in practice, and so why would we want to put him in the game?
I'm not going to put him in the game. No, he's not. Zim.
Let's take a break. Goodness. We'll come back. We got more to get to. Tanabe's got a keyword for us, by the way, too.
Yeah, the Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with their national cash contest. Enter the keyword cash at KFAN.com now for a chance of winning. That keyword is cash. Enter now at KFAN.com. Vikings-Eagles game this Sunday. Come find our street team on the plaza outside U.S. Bank Stadium and ask us how you can enter for your shot at Papa Murphy's game day meal deals for a year. Check out KFN.com, keyword calendar for all the details.
Couple 13-14 pastime common. He's Tanabe, and Mark Rosen is here as well. Do you know Dave Campbell, Associated Press?
Yeah, of course.
Dave is a sports reporter for AP based here in the Twin Cities. He wrote a piece, I think it was yesterday or the day before, a headline, Anthony Edwards embraces the boring pursuit of greatness as Timberwolves seek a more complete player. And I only bring it up, one of the reasons I bring it up mostly is because I was criticized by many, many people over the past couple of years that I didn't fully embrace Anthony Edwards as the wonderkin and the savior of the franchise and the best player in the league and this and that, because there were always things I saw in his game that I did not think were quite where they needed to be. And everybody else told me, mind your own business. He's Ant. He can do whatever he wants. But when you read through this story, and he realizes it, and I know he's young and this and that and the other thing, but Finch said, we've talked a lot about consistency, and the consistency of habit is one of the areas of improvement no matter what it pertains to. Ant has got to measure up here. We might do different things with matchups that put him in more high-leverage situations, which we know he can do and he enjoys. It's an NBA mantra that if you do so much on offense, you're allowed to not play defense. The best teams don't do that. They do what's necessary as much as they possibly can. Telling them they need you. We've talked about this. They had a meeting. Conley, others have talked to him about you need to play deep. You need to become one of the top defensive players of the year. The next piece says being that every night player. There are plenty of finer points of playing offense that Edwards can elevate too. He worked hard on ball handling during the summer, a skill he acknowledged has often been skipped because of the discomfort certain drills can create on his lower back. That ought to help him improve his performance in the clutch time situations that frequently hampered the Wolves last season. Another way he can be more consistently beat double teams is to not allow the opponents to get to that point by pushing the pace and running in transition more often. Recognizing ways to give the offense better space in the half court, too, can help. Sometimes players as talented as Edwards also simply need to find new ways to stay motivated during the regular season. And this is what I've been saying about him for so long. And everybody has piled on me and said, I don't know what I'm talking about. They say, oh, he lives rent-free in your head. Well, maybe he does. It's just when you are the franchise player, when you're paid that kind of money, when everything is invested in you, you got to grow up quick, and you got to be mature, and you got to play a full 48 minutes, and you got to play start to finish. And maybe this is the beginning of him doing that, because we know he's immensely talented. Anybody that's watched would know that. But this is what I have been waiting for, and hopefully it comes to fruition, and he is the kind of player that he can become, because he's really, really good. But to get to next level, I asked you the question last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. Does he have to play at an MVP level in order to take the Wolves to the next level? Right. You said yes, and I agree. He needs to get to that level, and a lot of that is just the want to and the desire and the, he even mentioned here, how can he stay more engaged? He said, try to get a career high in points. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. So, I don't know if that's the right answer. That's an individual accolade, but trying to stay engaged, because we've seen him at times. He'll be like missing an action in the first half. One bucket, maybe only taking a shot. Then all of a sudden, the second half, he goes off and scores 25 or 30. But I think they need a more, and if they do, the team could be very dangerous. Really
there are good points to be made about all of that. And I think, at his age now, just he's 24 now, and having seen the league and where he sits in the context of other stars in this league, there's been an immaturity about him that has surfaced sometimes at the worst possible time, both on and off the court, where you've got to take your craft very seriously. I think his relationship with Chris Finch is very important. They do have a very solid relationship. He has a great deal of respect for his head coach, and Chris understands the mindset, I think, of Anthony Edwards, but he's also quick to criticize when necessary about exactly those things where he has those, not just moments. I mean, every NBA player, I've watched LeBron for how many years, will sometimes, for lack of a better word, coast through the first quarter and get his teammates involved with other, in the flow of the game, and then kind of take things over. But it's a mindset that I think this year is probably more important than any other, because the Wolves have, whether you want to look at the addition, they didn't add a lot of players, but you're hopeful that Terrence Shannon in particular, that Finch is going to extend his bench a little bit, and it's not going to just be, living and dying with Ant's performance on a nightly basis, that they have enough other supporting people. But in order for him to take that next step, and I think that gold medal experience, the experience he had with the Olympic team when he was around the best of the best, had a positive effect on him in terms of seeing the work ethic what it takes to be at that level, that those guys, for the most part, don't take nights off. So, I mean, all those, what you said, they're all valid points. And if Edwards is going to take that next step, it can't just be when he feels like it. And I agree. And I think, Conley's been pushing on him. A lot of guys have. But I think Edwards has been pretty tough on himself by all accounts, especially this summer and getting ready for this season.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean,
the last thing Finch said in the Dave Campbell piece says, just continue to be that every night player at a high level that we know he can be, which is what you need to do if you want to be an MVP in this league. I certainly think he's got the DNA for it, and he just has to really fully embrace it. And maybe this is the year he'll do that.
Well, let's for the Wolves, let's hope so, because they need that kind of game when you talk about the best players. You just mentioned Doncic and Wemby and the players that he goes, every single night in the NBA, you're going up for the most part against a really good player, not necessarily a superstar, but a couple of them unfortunately have serious injuries and aren't going to be playing at the beginning of the year. But Ant faces the best of the best, and especially in the Western Conference, that's why you asked me about watching a preseason game with Dallas or something. No, but when the regular season starts, I'll definitely be watching a lot of games.
Dallas was awfully good. Doncic was 7 for 9 from the floor. He was very, very good last night.
Well, we'll have that, and I'm not going to argue with you about the the capability of Luka Doncic. He's one of the top
You and everybody
three.
else
He's
laughing at him because he was pudgy and he got traded.
Well,
you guys all thought he was funny.
I think that was
the butt end of everybody's joke.
I think he literally looked in the mirror and said, "I got to improve my conditioning." Yeah. You can't get by on talent.
Would you trade Anthony Edwards for Luka Doncic?
Talent alone.
Would you trade Anthony Edwards for Luka Doncic?
That's a tough one. Doncic is how old right now? Not that old, 28, something like that. He's probably the best overall player in the league.
I'd take Wembanyama
I know you would. Well, I know you're a Wemby
So
guy.
at 80% of the general managers in a poll.
He's a talent. He's definitely a talent. That is for sure. Yeah. Well, it'll be a fun season.
We'll start October 22nd.
Next week in Portland. Yeah, in Portland. Yeah, then off and running for 82. My God, it's just so long seasons.
You like this club a lot.
Well, I like the fact that Chris Finch is talking about extending his bench a little bit more. That I'm hope that
we've been begging him to do that forever.
Well, we have, but now
what he did was it's always what's that phrase they always use? Like in the NFL, it's always what's hot right now, or what's what am I looking for? The flavor of the week is what I'm looking for. Flavor of the week is they've always played 10 deep in Oklahoma City. That's what they do. They play 10 deep.
Well,
they play them all. They play 10 guys. They play them every game because you got to have everybody ready to play. And you have guys this way also guys can play harder for longer stretches, get a blow, bring somebody in. Oh, you brought in somebody who's used to playing. It seems to me it's so elementary. And I get it. There are coaches like Tibbs and I think Finch and others that they don't trust those guys. They realize that if they don't have winning teams, they won't have their job for very long either. So you're in to win. But I think I think if you have until you play some of these guys longer stretches, you don't know if they. Well,
I think Shannon and Dillingham are going to be the two guys in particular. My guy Clark are going to. Those two in particular, Shannon and Dillingham, are going to get extended playing time. And I'm excited to see Terrence Shannon kind of do his thing because he's an explosive player. We saw more than glimpses of it last year. And Dillingham has got to use his skills to do the things that he does best, and it opens up everything else for everybody on this basketball team.
It's possible you might be in better shape than Luka Doncic was last year. It's possible.
It's impossible.
I don't know. You look pretty good.
Thank you, but
with the fitness game.
That's from this morning.
Yeah. Our final break, and then one more segment to go here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Aquarius Home Services has your shot at 4 tickets to see Green Bay take on the Purple in early January, plus $500 in game day cash. Register for your chance to win today on the KFAN contest page. That's KFAN.com/furnace to enter today.
Final segment of the Grom for me for the week. I'm taking a couple of days off. Well-deserved, too. Thank you very much. Tenna Fitzgerald.
Say so yourself.
Yes, I don't mind saying so myself, and I don't mind saying so myself. The Tenna Fitzgerald set sail Thursday and Friday at 12 noon. I will make an appearance tomorrow. Unlike you, when you're gone, you just tell Tenna what your spread
for spring.
I'm going to call.
Well, I was on a plane when that was happening, so I couldn't really call. There was no phone on the plane, so I was. We hadn't landed yet. So.
Okay. I guess I'll have to take your word because I don't know what your flight schedule is like.
No, you're not going to see it.
Yeah, because you weren't on a plane.
Yes, I was,
you were already resting poolside.
No, poolside. It rained all weekend. Oh. Got a beautiful Charleston, so I've never been there before. It was nice.
We've been discussing, debating best players in the NBA. Who are they? Top 10. Who's the very best? Would you trade this guy for that guy? I was reading a piece on in my extensive preparation for my show from CBSSports.com, just talking about SGA. Mm-hmm. And just this first paragraph, just kind of, it's hard to argue when you read that SGA put together one of the all-time great individual seasons for an NBA star in the 2024-2025 season when he became the first player to win the league's scoring title, MVP, Finals MVP, and a championship in the same season since Mike Jordan pulled off the same astonishing feat in 97,
That's
98.
amazing.
Now think about that. I mean, that hadn't happened since Mike Jordan did it in 1997, 98. How many years
It's a long
is that?
time ago.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
And SGA was able to do that. And
He
the
saved
story,
his best for last, too. He absolutely did.
And the story goes on to say, and yet despite producing a season we haven't seen in almost 30 years, SGA is not in the top spot of the best 100 players in the NBA going into this season. That continues to be, at least to the CBS Sports guys. They have their 8 or 9 writers that do NBA, and so they make their little list. And it's because most people have the Joker there. And as the story goes on to say, that's because Joker's busy rewriting history books himself. And he is a more than worthy candidate for that number 1 position. The 3-time MVP produced the best statistical season of his career last season, averaging a monstrous triple-double, 29.6 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 10.2 assists, and doing so on outrageous efficiency, 66.3% true shooting. To get to be regarded as the best player in the league, you got a lot of competition. I mean, those are 2 astonishing seasons in the same season by 2 of the best players in the league, and that's why a lot of these players are. Again, I'm not saying that Ant is one of the best players, but when you have your Ants and your Wembanyamas and your Greek Freaks and all these players, and even some of the older guys that probably wouldn't. I don't think you'd put Steph in that conversation anymore, or Durant or LeBron, because while they're still very good, I wouldn't say they're the best players in the league anymore. They're among them, but they're not. Goes to the numbers these guys are putting up. SGA and Joker's astonishing.
It speaks to the expansion of international basketball, how the scouting has expanded, the talent level internationally. Where the U.S. used to just dominate no matter who they played. And now, whether you're talking about France, Slovenia, Italy, it's such an international game. And we're seeing the best of the best players come to the NBA. I mean, I thought that we were in the kind of the golden age not that many years ago with the kind of talent level we saw. You talk about the Jordan era, and we know that, whether you're watching them go out, head to head against Utah and Stockton and Malone, and obviously the Lakers had their bevy of stars, and the Celtics always, with McHale, Parrish, and Bird. And, I thought, man, are we ever going to see a time like this in basketball again? Well, we're seeing it. And then, you go through the whole thing with what the Golden State Warriors did with they're still hanging on, and maybe, and then some with Steph Curry and of course, Klay Thompson's in Dallas now. But it keeps getting better. And I think that's, a reflection on how international the game has become and how much talent there is in the world.
Here are some other numbers from SGA last year. He scored fewer than 20 points in a game 1 time during the regular season.
That's hard to believe.
That was an 18-point outing in the 4th game of the season, while scoring 30 or more on 49 occasions. Yeah. In the playoffs, he had 3 outings below 20 points while scoring 30 or more in 15 of the Thunder's 23 playoff games en route to the title, even while struggling with his 3-point shot against defenses trying to force anyone else to beat them. That's how good he is. And I know he's a flopper. He has that reputation and this and that and the other thing, but
he's brilliant. He does sell it, and many times, ends up with, floor burns from being on the floor as much as he is, but many times he earns it too.
And then listen to this. It says, for as much as we discuss Joker orchestrating everything for the Nuggets, SGA serves as an equally important engine for OKC. His 34.8% usage rate last season was 3rd in the league behind LaMelo Ball and Antetokounmpo. Wow. With the key difference being SGA was doing so on the league's 3rd best offense, while Antetokounmpo's Bucks were 10th and Ball's Hornets were 29th. It's exceedingly rare for a team as successful and efficient as the Thunder to rely so heavily on one player for creation, but that's a testament to SGA's abilities as both a scorer and facilitator. He pulls all the strings of the Thunder and has learned how to toe the line between being an elite scorer and individual creator while also keeping his teammates involved and engaged. And that's what he does. And as a point guard, that's why it's so important. That's why he is so talented.
Yep. He's definitely worth the price of admission, as they say.
Yeah. And I think that's that. And because he has a very nice supporting cast, he has a hell of a coach, and they're coming off a championship. It's hard to repeat. We know that. It's really difficult. But I think that's why they're the odds-on favorites, because of what he's able to do.
They have that hunger to be one of the best. They have an opportunity to try to. It's hard to. It's in this league. It's for injuries and everything else, and staying motivated with the money they're making, and to grind your way through an 82-game season. Then it starts over again for another 3 months, basically. That you have to be at your best, and we saw the best of OKC last year, and well-deserved championship.
It's Wednesday, and that means one thing around here. It's a Wild Wednesday. Rock Talk, Rock Rank, Wild Wednesday. Your shot at Wild tickets.
I always love that one.
It's tickets to see Minnesota play Utah. 11th caller right now, 1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. You win a pair of tickets to see the Wild take on the Utah Mammoth, to take on the Woolies, October 25th. Call right now and be that 11th call, and the tickets are yours. Dodgers did it again. Yamamoto,
You're reading my mind.
I think he gave up...
opening pitch.
He gave up a home run. From that point on, he gave up 2 more hits the rest of the game. It's a complete game. And I can't remember what I read, but it's like the first complete game in postseason in 5 or 6, 8 years, wasn't it?
8. Think about
8 years. And, well, that's just the way they pitch now. I mean, they take pitchers out because they have so much money invested in those arms. They don't dare. They don't want to take that chance. But he pitched a complete game last night. So that's 2 performances back-to-back where Snell goes 8 innings, gives up 1 hit, and strikes out 10. The bullpen, the Dodgers bullpen is a weakness, apparently, this year. And I think maybe that was another reason why they went the distance with the Yamamoto, because the Brewers had a chance to win that. They almost stole that game in the bottom of the 9th the other day, but they did not.
First one,
Game 1. They almost stole it. And what I'm saying is that's, I think, why they probably let Yamamoto go the distance. They didn't want to give it back to that bullpen again because it was still a close game. But, that's where, I remember TK used to do the old, if you pitch and play defense, you give yourself a chance to win the ball game. And I think everybody that knows, there are times when the best pitchers in baseball are having an off day and a good hitting team can get to them. But more times than not, I don't know if you agree with me here, but if you told me I want one of the best pitchers on the mound in a postseason game rather than one of the best offenses in baseball in the field, I will take the best pitcher, because when they're on and have it going, it's the things they can do with. I think Royce wrote a piece about a week ago. It was really nice. It was about the way pitching has progressed over the years and morphed and changed and evolved, and how there used to be fastball, curveball, sinker, and that was about it, right? Now you've got slurves and swerves and all these different pitches, and throwing as hard as you can, and in all the different ways to and then when you use your sabermetrics and analytics, which can be helpful. We've talked about that. I still think I'll just go with the guy with his cunning and guile more than, but when you know what catchers, a hitter's tendencies are and such like that, if you got a good guy on the hill, man, it just makes all the difference. The one we've seen, they have a 2-0 lead against the Brewers, had the best record in Major League Baseball, going a very talented club with a pretty good pitching staff on their own. But what they had was a team that they could hit the long ball to win games. They did it in postseason. They can go long and win games. They can play small ball to win games. But when you're facing the best pitching in baseball, none of that matters.
And Yamamoto took the air out of that building last night. There was, after Milwaukee scored in the bottom of the first with the home run, you think, they're going to give it a run here. Dodgers scored 2 right away in the top of the second. And, still it's 2-1 game. No big deal. And they didn't score again until the 6th inning. And then it just kind of, you could just feel it. And the fans were kind of, they were anticipating something big happening, but they never really got a chance to cheer. And they never really got a chance to the Brewers never gave their crowd a chance to kind of get into the game. And now they got to go back to LA, and it certainly looks like they're just punching their way right to the World Series. And I think most baseball fans, if you're watching it all, I love the city. I've talked about it a million times. I love the city of Toronto. I love the people. I like what they stand for, but I think Seattle.
You're not recognized there. which is another name, which is refreshing.
But I'd like to see Seattle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to see. Seattle's got a fun team to watch. They talk about hitting the ball out of the park, not just Cal Raleigh and what they've done, and our guy Polanco. That would be hopefully a fun World Series. And Seattle's never had a chance.
If the Brewers are eliminated, I don't care.
Really?
Toronto, Seattle, Dodgers.
Seattle is fun. To me, like I said, Seattle's turned into a great story this year. But I don't know if anybody can beat the Dodgers. I mean, it's just they're playing.
Not with that pitching, and they have a great everyday lineup.
Yeah, there's no weakness, and they're
not afraid to spend money. And I know there's more available to them. But every owner in Major League Baseball, if they really want, I mean, look what the San Diego guys done and the Mets guys. They spend their own personal fortunes. They hasn't won it for them yet, but as a fan, do you really care? No. I mean, there was the quote from, I don't remember, I have it somewhere, I saved it, where one of the baseball owners said something in effect. He goes, fans don't care. They just want a winning team, so they don't care if I'm spending my own money or whatever it comes from. So he's basically saying there are no excuses. Either field a winning team or you don't. You know, and if you're in a smaller market and you bought the club, you know the rules, you know there is no say. Now that may change, there may eventually be a salary cap and a floor. But right now, if you want to compete, you have to spend some of your own personal fortune. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and whether they end up with a lockout another year from now remains to be seen. But in the meantime, the Dodgers keep humming along, and they're probably going to be on the verge of winning their second straight World Series title. And they've had a few of them. And in LA, that's they care about the Dodgers. They care about USC football. They don't much care for the Rams. When the Rams play the 49ers at SoFi, was it the Rams or the Chargers? There were 3/4 the stadium was filled with 49er fans. It's like, I'm not going to pay attention. Pro football is almost it's an afterthought in Los Angeles. Has been for a long time. That's why they stole the St. Louis moved there, of course, but. And the Chargers moved from San Diego, so they got two teams there that weren't even from there, and now they're kind of just going through the motions. And they got a damn good football team there too.
Is today the 15th?
Yes.
2 days ago, the Associated Press released their top 25 men's college basketball polls. We get ready for the college basketball season. Purdue at number 1, followed by Houston, Florida, UConn, and St. John's, rounding out the top 10. Duke, Michigan, BYU, Kentucky, Texas Tech, and Louisville. Other Big Ten schools would be Illinois at 17, Michigan State at 22, and Wisconsin at 24. Others receiving votes, the Gophers aren't included.
No,
I'm very curious. I think everybody is when you have a new coach and a new program and a new direction. And I think there are only 2 players that were on last year's Gophers, if I read that right, that are on this year's Gophers team. He has went out. Right. Yeah. He's done the transfer portal. He's brought play. I think he's brought at least 1 or 2 kids from where was he at Colorado State? Was it? He brought them along with him. And a lot of, if I saw it right too, I think there's a lot of seniors on the team, guys with experience. Now, how quickly they can meld together. Basketball is a team game, but I think everybody's curious. I think I had as much fun in 1997 as I ever had watching college basketball, and the Gophers made the run to the Final Four. We know all about the cheating scandal and all that, but the academic cheating scandal. But it's like what I talk about in football as well, why college football generally isn't on my radar, other than now Deuce's alma mater's in Nebraska, Pete's at Ohio State. So I've watched more college basketball this year than I've watched in the past 10 years combined in college football. But if your local team is, if your local team is involved and they're considered one of the better teams in the country, at least a top 25 team, it makes it, to me, more attractive to pay attention. And I'd love to see, is it Medved? Is that his name? Nico Medved?
Nico Medved.
I'd love to see him do a great job. He's
charismatic.
He's like Fleck in this way. Everywhere Fleck was prior to Minnesota, he had winning records. And Medved's done the same thing as well. Whether he can transfer that to the Big 18, I don't know. But it'll be interesting
you just hit the optimum word, transfer. I mean, you have to get the right transfer kids in here, and you're going into a college basketball season, and compared to what it used to be, it wasn't even that long ago. I certainly could name one star basketball player in college basketball right now. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And it'll take time. And we're paying attention. If you're a college fan right now, you're watching more college football, and some of the players that are going to be drafted next year. The Indiana quarterback, he's already being mentioned as potentially number one draft pick overall in the NFL, and what a great story that continues to be. Although that head coach probably be gone, they're going to maybe Penn State will offer him $80 million to come and coach them.
Which guy?
Indiana.
Oh yeah, the Indiana coach. That's a possibility.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. But the point is,
there's a tie between Matt Rule and the athletic director
right.
at Penn State.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Rule's he'll be here, of course, Friday night. Got a lot of ties to to Pennsylvania in that area. But I think just as far as the players go, because of it's the one and dones, and you don't have those kind of teams anymore. Even the last couple of years, it's been harder for me as a big college basketball fan to kind of get into it until March, because it just the Gophers haven't been good, obviously. So it's pretty hard to get all riled up about watching them play, even on those winter nights. It used to be so much fun at Williams Arena. You hope that changes, and it's going to.
They miss you at the barn. There was a time where you used to.
I never missed.
You would be at the barn a lot.
Yeah, I'd be right in those front row.
They miss you at the barn.
Seats.
Will you go back there again?
I hope so. I mean, the Gopher women's basketball team is going to be, I think, pretty good this year. Mara Brown.
Will you be going there?
Yeah, we've gone to a couple games. I've gone to more women's games than men's games lately. To be honest with you.
So we'll see you there.
Probably. Yeah, Karin likes to go, so we'll go. Yeah, I like to go too. So, yeah, I'll be there.
Wouldn't miss it.
Well, you have yourself a wonderful couple days.
I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
I'll be on property at several golf courses. Going to be a lot of fun. Yeah,
you'll call in for spread swing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, 1:40 is my tee time, so I'll tune in about 1:30. Get one kick in before I tee off, and then I suppose as I'm tapping in for birdie on one and walking to the second tee box, I'll do it again.
Talking and hitting golf shots has never been a problem for you.
You are correct. I will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll have a lot to talk about by then.
Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. Enjoy your next 2 days, Thursday and Friday with Lieutenant Fitzgerald. I'll talk to you on Monday at 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket and JG. They're next. Right here on the Fan.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Later.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.